Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. I've been out here working this morning. This is day 2 of work on the Diesel 40/RD-6 Frankencat, the parts unit. And I've just got the working clothes on. I came out this morning and started loosening a lot of bolts. It's been a couple days since I was out here last, and the more I thought about it, the more I decided, follow my own advice. Create enough room so that you can work and get in and do the job. We're trying to get this thing freed up and moved with, the least amount of labor possible, being that we're working off-site. So, as you can see, I have started to make myself some room. The first thing I did was take the fuel tank off, okay? Because that had us blocked out to about here. And last time I reached under the tank far enough to get that cover off, but you're still pretty much covered up. We need to free that main clutch and a few other things. So the fuel tank's in the back of the truck. You see that board right there? My genius brain thought, oh yeah, I'll just take that fuel tank. It had like 5 gallons of fuel in it and the support and everything. It'll be heavy, but we just take a few bolts off and then we slide that fuel tank easily down that board and get it to the back of the truck. Well, that turned into... it was an event, let me tell you. And that fuel tank bracket kept hanging on the wood and digging in, and I couldn't slide anything, and I struggled with it, almost fell off the cat once, and finally just got mad enough that I bear hugged the thing and picked it up, and it was heavier than I should be lifting, but I managed to get it over to the tailgate and relished in my victory shortly after. So we don't need the long board anymore. I'll wedge that up in there. We got the fuel tank in the back of the truck. That was victory number 1. Next is going to be seat box and fenders. So if I have all the bolts out of the seat box, it'll come off next. Fender. Fender. I didn't record much of the removal of these because you all just watched me do it on 1768, the narrow RD-6. Nothing we haven't seen before. All right, top cover's loose. We're gaining access. Of the 38 perimeter bolts and 9 bell housing bolts, we only suffered 1 twist off. That was right there. So I probably could have saved it if I'd had torches here. Now I'm really wishing I had the tractor here because this is heavy, but we have it loosened up. My goal is just to, I got plenty of pry bars, plenty of blocking, just keep working it up, see if we can't get into that clutch up there. Maybe even just get a better look at what's going on. All right, everybody, first look inside. We can see quite a bit more than before. Look at all the moisture in there. That is why things rust up so much when they sit. They're just condensation traps. Sorry. But looking at that clutch now, it looks like we're actually disengaged. The collar is back and it looks like the dogs are unlocked, but I can't move it. Oh, I thought it was stuck engaged, but it looks like it's disengaged. All right. Oh, here's another interesting tell. Look at how much of a gap there is between the ring gear and the flywheel shoulder. That ring gear has definitely loosened up and migrated forward. And you come over to the other side, there's something even more interesting. See that spot of weld right there? Somebody knew it was loose and they tried to weld the ring gear or at least tack it onto the flywheel. Oh, so yeah, thermoids in there. Actually, they don't look tattered. Transmission, it was definitely stuck in gear. We need to come over to this side again. And you see back here, the way that, this one's either back or this one's forward. They're staggered against one another. They're definitely not in line. So we can manually see if we can neutral this thing out And then we can see if we can actually do some prying in there on that clutch collar. Maybe we don't need to go get heat to free it up. It's going to be hard to say. There, we got the shift fork is moving. It's just really dry. There, we should be neutraled out. All right, it's a few minutes later, and I've determined that either the clutch frictions have swollen and actually like bound our pressure plates even though the spider is released, or they're likely also rusted to the pressure plates. I haven't had any movement on the clutch, but by pure dumb luck, this nut right here and the head of the bolt up here, see we got the pry bar on it? That is the pinch bolt for the clutch spider. Now, how it just ended up facing us, I don't know how we possibly got that lucky, but at least we can easily loosen that and maybe see if we can start backing the spider off. And here's another interesting development. So, engine has still been stuck. I chose to go in here on this ring gear just to see if the ring gear is loose on the flywheel, but watch this. See the whole flywheel and everything turns just a bit. We've got a little bit of movement on that engine, and it's because we pulled this top cover and we can get the mechanical advantage of the pry bar right on the ring gear teeth. We can go in here and move it back. Watch the fan blades though. You have to watch them really close. I can detect just a hint of movement. See, they just, I'm getting just probably that much rotation at the flywheel, both directions. It is slight, but we're tickling the timing gears, so I think it's time to pull those injectors, dump some more loose juice down those cylinders. Now that we've moved something, let it sit, let it soak. We can dump plenty. Those are big pistons. Lots of space in there. We're getting more movement all the time. Yeah, boy, I'm liking how that looks. So, don't worry, I'm about to throw that in the truck. I think that's all we have time for today. It's getting on evening time now, and it's time to split, unload all that stuff from the truck, and we'll head back probably tomorrow, weather permitting. I have a feeling it's going to turn even better then. Okay, everybody, it's the next day, and I have some exciting developments to share. First, I'll show you what I've been up to. So, pro tip here. When I have an engine that's sat for a long time and everything's really dry, I've got this old pump-up sprayer, okay? So, you pump air pressure with that plunger, and I put oil in this thing, okay? And once you put oil in it, label it. This is like diesel and oil and, whatever. But I'll pressurize this, and I've got this line going all the way down to this oil manifold right here on the side of the diesel block. You see where that white line comes down in. And on the back side of that manifold, there are jumper lines that feed the crankshaft and then everything up into the timing gears. All right, so that's just slowly pressure feeding lube oil into all those surfaces that are probably dry from this having been sitting for so long. Another thing I did, since I got the engine to start moving yesterday, I went into the transmission and I dumped fresh 80-90 gear lube all over those gears. It looked rather dry in there. And then I stuck my pry bars back in and I manipulated the shift forks into reverse. Okay, so I put it back in gear. This main clutch, even though it's in the disengaged position, it is so stuck. We're going to see if we can still drive power through it. And all that soaking did us some good. Look at this. I come over and give this a check periodically, make sure we still have pressure. And we're turning and we're lubing the engine and we're crawling it up out of its hole. Well, the engine barring tool has come in quite handy, and we're up out of the hole. Pulled itself out of those ruts. It's a lot taller now. Stands a lot taller when it's not 6 inches in the ground. So next thing we can do, I guess, throw that transmission back in neutral and then put this top cover back down. I don't see any reason at this time to mess with that main clutch at all. It seems like it wants to roll, it wants to move. We can neutral the transmission out. It doesn't matter if that clutch is stuck. We can tow this, we can winch it, we can do whatever we need. So yeah, we've had quite a victory today. Head of one little bolt can just jam you up sometimes. There we go. There, just had to dance that shifter back into the gates. We got the cover down. Wheel snug. A few bolts down just to make sure that the wind doesn't blow this off after we leave. Well, everybody, it's standing tall again. Yeah, I'm really happy with how much ground we've covered in just 2 episodes on this. I'm really happy that the diesel engine is turning over as well as it is. It seemed like it wanted to move without any argument. I also get the impression the steering clutches will probably disengage if we needed to aid in any turning. So speaking of turning, we've got it out of the hole that it was in, and we're on high ground. All right, and the plan right now that we know it's going to move, it's going to roll, I might bring the Swamp Angel in here with the super wide tracks, the 20-inch trackpad D2. It doesn't want to tear up lawn or grass too bad. I think we can hook onto the drawbar right here and tow this right out backwards and get it closer to the road where it's easier to work on it. We'll still have to strip blade mounts and lighten it up somewhat, but I can at least get my trailer closer to it and see which pieces I may be able to haul. I have a feeling I'm going to be doing this one myself for access in and out of this place. If I split the engine from the chassis, I can't haul the chassis on my trailer. I will be within limits and I won't destroy my trailer. Then I can haul the engine in a second trip. That's the tentative plan. we'll see how things go. So weather's blowing in here. It's supposed to rain on and off for the next few days, so we won't be back for a bit until it all straightens out. But we do have a name for this tractor. The first episode hit the public feed this morning, and the comment section, I think we got the name. That old flattened out piece of stovepipe that covered that broken casting, Old Stovepipe. I think that's a really fitting name for this old guy. He looks like he could be an old stovepipe to me, so I like that. Old Stovepipe it is. So I thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the adventure. We worked hard on this one, but we have it prepped, we have it ready, and we're trying to do it correct, do it right, not make a mess, and be respectful to the landowner, not come in here and just hook onto a possible immovable object and just start digging and clawing and scratching and tear everything up. So I'm well pleased with how well we have it prepped right now. So I thank you for watching. Hope to see you back on the next one. Old Stovepipe says so long as well.